Perfect. Thanks, Mark. And for anyone that I haven't been chatting to on LinkedIn over the last couple of days, great to meet you. I'm Shannon Lemanski. I'm the co-founder of Aqua Ubique. Now, before I tell you what we do, even though you probably saw it from the promos, I'd like to share something that I picked up from talking to a lot of you over the last couple of weeks. And it's a pattern that we're seeing emerge across a bunch of infrastructure projects. You find an initiative that clearly improves the outcomes, it reduces the emissions for the site, it helps divert site waste, or it'll help reduce the water consumption on site as well. And then you present that initiative to the PM or the project director, and you get one or two answers. That's awesome, but there's no budget. Or even worse, we love it, but we can't risk the schedule. So what ultimately ends up happening is your initiative gets parked, not because it lacked merit, but because there's always the delivery pressure for the guys in the project offices. So we know that on a lot of your sites, it's not that there's not the goodwill and it's not that you don't want sustainability to get through, but the simple fact is that the operational things in the budget always leads the thing, and overall it means that you end up having to make compromises. So I'd like to show you something that it looks at something that is typically forgotten about in the corner, but can be a massive win on your site offices. So it's here. It's the office water cooler. You can see the one on the left. That's pretty standard. We've seen that across a bunch of sites. The water cooler there and a stack of bottles sitting next to it a lot of the time in the sun. Or the one on the right. That machine's generating exactly the same amount of water as that machine on the left, but you can see that there's no bottles, there's no deliveries, and there's none of the issues. So what does getting rid of the bottles mean? Means you get your project office back. So there's none of the deliveries, there's none of the transport emissions, and you get all that space back. And you also don't have the water sitting out in the sun, so the guys are getting that plasticky taste in the water. So we've been doing this for a bit over 3 years now, and we particularly like helping infrastructure, government, and enterprise clients get away from your bottled water coolers and getting into ones that make stuff from air. And Glenn, I saw that you're on the call. G'day. That's Glenn using it at the CPB site at Clapham. And the numbers that we've got over the last couple of years speak for themselves. So the fleet's recently just generated over 100,000 litres of water. We've eliminated over 6,500 15-litre water bottles. And we've got 5 drop-for-drop machines that are supporting First Nations communities. I'll get to that in a sec. And these are across some pretty big clients. You'll know a bunch of these names. These guys they've either got or they're trying the machines at the moment. So drop for drop, what is it? It's this.
Drop for Drop is our give back program. Over 2 million Australians currently don't have access to safe drinking water, and the hardest issue with solving that problem is finding the capital and the people that care enough that we can actually get into there. The aim of Drop for Drop is to end the fact that currently 2 million Australians don't have access to safe drinking water. For every 5 office water coolers we replace, we're then able to install and support one in a community, such as Cherbourg, where we are today, where they need it most.
So Cherbourg faces a real crisis when it comes to the water quality, as in it's not potable, it's not drinkable, it's not safe for use for the entire community, not just us here at Gundu, which, you know, affects the bathing, cooking, you know, cleaning, washing, all those elements of everyday life that we take for granted they have to struggle with.
You know, it is hard for them to drink straight from the tap. A lot of the time they have to boil water. You go to the neighbouring towns, buy bottled water. But it'd be nice for community, you know, just to have water that they can drink straight from a tap or a cooler and not have any issues.
So we're proud today, Aqua Ubique, through our Drop for Drop program, have installed 2 water generators into Cherbourg. One's gone into the Gundu Childcare Centre and the other one's gone into the aged care village. This way the elders and the youngest of the Cherbourg community now have access to safe, remineralised water that's far better than anything that comes out of their tap.
You know, it comes out lovely and cold and it's just clean. It's clean to the point where it makes you want to drink more.
We've always had issues with our water, the quality of water, but we have to get quality water for our little Gundus, you know, because they deserve it, an early start, a good start in life.
Kicking off the Drop for Drop program with Aqua Ubique, this is the realisation of 2 years of a lot of hard work from the team. In 2016, when I was in Papua New Guinea serving with the Army, I saw the issues of water insecurity. I didn't realise how close they were to home. Cherbourg is less than 3 hours from where I live. So today it means a lot to actually use this technology and have pulled together the Sunshine Coast community to get this technology and get these life-changing machines into areas that need the most in Australia.
So the question we always get first is, how do these machines work? And if you pull out the science and you boil it down and massively oversimplify it, think of it effectively as a dehumidifier that's hooked up to a water filter. So we pull the air in, we cool it down, the humidity drops out, we take that water, we filter it, we remineralize it, and it comes out as premium drinking water. We've had that tested by Unity Water and Queensland Health, who've told us it's got more minerals than bottled, less chemicals than tap, and no detectable levels of PFAS, so the forever chemicals. And how do these stack up? So typically when you see a bunch of these sustainability ideas that come up, the assumption is that it costs more. It's not the case here. So for a typical site that's relying on 15-litre bottles, let's say you're going through 20 to 30 bottles a month, so that's one a day, this machine will keep up. But we only charge you the equivalent of 10 bottles. So what that actually means is if you've got a site that's going through that many bottles, if you're not switching over from bottles to one of these machines, it's actually costing your site office $3.5 grand more per year. So this is why so many people are switching. It stacks up from a commercial standpoint, and there's all those other benefits as well. So we're eliminating the bottled water hassles, in particular the deliveries, because I know that a bunch of these companies, their customer service can be lacking. We offer these machines on a managed service, so that means if anything ever goes wrong, if they're not dispensing, if something breaks, if there's something wrong with the filter, you just give me a call. We come over, we'll switch the machine over within 24 hours, so it means that your team don't have to deal with the maintenance and you don't have to deal with any filters or cleaning, because we deal with all of that. We're also an accredited social enterprise, so accredited through People and Planet First, and talking to Sunshine Coast Council. For any of you that aren't aware, if you have a social enterprise inside your supply chain, for your procurement teams and for your bid teams, more importantly, that's extra points on your tenders. So in the case of Sunny Coast Council, you get up to a 10% loading for having First Nations businesses or social enterprises in your supply chain, so we can help you tick that box. The machines are installed within about 45 minutes, so we're on site pretty quickly to get them in. All we need is a PowerPoint to plug them in, and there's obviously then that measurable social impact that you're getting because of the fact that for anyone that's keeping these machines for 12 months or more, we like to help, we like to show people that are helping us get into Cherbourg and get into Doomadgee and other communities. We like putting your logo on there and then sending your marketing team the photo of how you're supporting these machines in community. So Glenn, I'm going to use you as a case study. Towards the back end of last year, we put 2 machines into the Clapham site down at Cross River Rail. So that was for a 2-week trial. The one thing that we learned really quickly is these machines need 24-hour uninterrupted power. So the two, you can see that there's this machine here that's in the side office, and then you've got the other one that's out in the crib room. The crib room one didn't work as well because of the fact that that machine wasn't powered overnight. Overnight humidity picks up. That's when these machines generate most of their water. So these machines need access to 24-hour power. That said, for the machine that's in the side office, it's still there now. It's reduced the number of bottles that are being delivered to that site. The team were reporting that the water tastes colder and better than anything that's been coming out of the bottles. So CPB and Cross River Rail opted to hold onto that machine, and that machine now has helped them avoid over 82 15-litre bottles on that site. At the end of last year as well, Downer picked us up. So we've just put 2 machines into one of their sites at the Pine Valley upgrade. That's replaced their cooler that's in their office, as well as it's supplementing the bottles that are in their lunchroom. So we're starting to get rid of them. So in that instance, 74 bottles have been avoided. These 2 machines have directly helped support one of the machines that have gone into Cherbourg. So that video was a little bit dated now. In there I said there's 2 machines. We've actually now deployed 5 to Cherbourg, and machine number 6 and 7 are going in next week. So it means that we've now got over 80 people out towards Cherbourg that have got access to clean, safe water. And talking to the director out there, it means that there's been no ear, nose and throat infections, no gastro, and no diarrhea in the daycare centre since those machines went in. Downer are also looking to expand this machine rollout across the rest of their 6 sites that are tied to that Pine Valley project. So if you're aware of your organisations, or if you're aware of anyone that's still using bottled water as a default, I'd encourage you to literally just reach out and trial to see if these things work on your site. So we do offer 2-week free trials. That way you can get in, the project teams can see, they can try it. If similar to Glenn and we find areas that it doesn't work, that's fine. That's learnings for us, and we thank you for helping us with this. But if it does work, then obviously there's that $3.5 grand saving per machine that your teams can tap into, as well as getting rid of the bottles and helping us get water into where it needs to go. So if you'd like to learn more, there's the QR code there, scan that and you can grab a time with me, or flick me an email. My email's there on the screen, and I'm happy to send you more details. Thanks.
Awesome, Shannon. Thanks for sharing that. There's no question, so I do have one. You've got managed service. Whereabouts? We have people within the community of practice that are dialing in from all around Queensland, some from interstate as well. Where do you service? Just southeast or? Yeah,
so primarily at the moment we're restricted to the southeast corner. So we're looking Noosa down to the Tweed and west out to Maloney. That said, working with Sunwater, we've got machines as far north as Townsville, and we've also got machines that are way up the top up towards Cooktown. So predominantly the managed services in that southeast area, but if it's in a trial and then looking for more machines outside of that, we're starting to bring on distributors and other managed service providers that we can support bigger deployments outside of that southeast corner as well.
Yeah, right. No, that's great. Thanks for that. Glenn, question?
Yeah, just wanted to say the guys here really are enjoying the taste of the water. It's quite refreshing in comparison to tap and the bottled water. But Shannon, I think you also had a larger unit that you could deploy on sites that are a bit more remote rather than just the water coolers. Did you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. And you're 100% right. So this is the MG10, this machine that I've just taken you through. That's the smaller one that's in our offering. We've also got the 55K. So think of that similar to like a large family fridge or a vending machine. And then we've got a block machine as well that's the same size as like a standard pallet. On the 55K, so the vending machine one, you're looking at about 75 litres a day. And again, that just needs a single power point, push the button, out comes the water. The bigger block, you're looking at 250 litres a day, so significantly bigger. But that one doesn't come with an internal tank, so therefore we need some kind of dispensing or whatever. Ultimately, and what we're dealing with Glenn, is the questions that I've always got is, where are you? How much water do you need, and what are you currently doing? Because based off that, then we can take these systems, because they're dependent on temperature and they're dependent on humidity. We can scale them and come back to you with an option that best suits whatever you actually need on that site.
Awesome. So there's a question from Lisa just with regards to sort of the
energy consumption.
The unit produce.
Yep. Yeah, so Lisa's asked, I imagine that the energy consumption for the cooling process is quite intensive. Do you have any data on energy consumption? Simple answer, yes. So the machine runs at approximately 350 watts an hour when it's generating water, 350 watts when it's generating water. Does the same when it's cooling the water as well. These machines are designed to be energy efficient, so it can cool the water or it can generate water at the same it can cool the water or generate water. It can't do both at the same time, which therefore means that if the tank drops down below 50%, it'll focus on generating water. That said, 350 watts, that's less than a solar panel. So think of these as a super efficient air conditioner. So using less power than your traditional air conditioner to output water, and you can run them off solar as well, provided it's got that 24-hour uninterrupted cycle. Does that answer your question, Lisa?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Perfect.
Awesome. Lisa had another question just around the the volume of water in different areas.
Yeah, so these machines can be very temperature and humidity dependent, and that's why we've intentionally started at the Tweed and we're going north before we go south. In the instance of MG10, all of those numbers that I described are for a air-conditioned, climate-controlled office. So we're looking at 24 degrees and 40 to 60% humidity, so reasonably cool and reasonably dry. You're still getting 10 to 15 litres a day. Put them outside, particularly during a Queensland summer. These machines can push 20 up to 30 litres a day if you're in far north Queensland and it's one of those really hot, sticky, disgusting days. That said, if you to go to somewhere like Alice Springs where it's hot but really dry, the machines will still generate water. They just won't generate anywhere near as much because the air is not carrying as much water.
Yep. That's awesome. All right, thanks for that. There any other questions? Otherwise, I know we've got your details, Shannon, and again, I'll circulate them around. I'm sure there are a few people that might get in contact with you. I think it's a great initiative. Sort of reiterate what Michael Steele has put in the comments that it's a great social initiative that you're working with. So thanks for coming on and presenting to the group.
Awesome. Thank you very much.